Hi, my name is Mark Adams, and welcome to the Private Label Report. This is a podcast where I invite you into my office and we talk about all things Amazon private label selling. Pull up a chair. Let's get started. Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's episode. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on iTunes, I truly appreciate you being here. Today, we're going to talk about how to get more conversions by having better pictures. But before we get started, let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. A couple things just to keep up with. For those of you who are not aware, we're going to take a group of buyers, Amazon buyers, back to the Canton fair for the next fair. You'll see the link here on the page if you're interested in joining me on that trip. And also, too, we're going to do Private Label Live in Florida. And that's an event I did last year in the fall. It depends on when you're watching this or listening to this recording. But we're going to get people together as a group of Amazon sellers and go over some very intense Amazon training. As I record this, I don't have all the details yet, but we're going to have that available soon. It's going to be late September, early October. So if you're interested in that, I have a link here in the notes as well. But back to the topic at hand, and that's one of the most, I think, important things on an Amazon page is the pictures. And I think the way people go through this is once you look at pictures, if you decide the pictures look good, then you go into the title, then to the bullet points and the product description. You decide to buy it or not. You then look at the reviews and confirm your decision, or you eliminate the decision. But I think as I coach so many people through their products and their processes and putting things up, I think the thing where people miss the biggest opportunity is their pictures. And I think what people do so many times is they're all set on taking good product pictures. But you have to go back and really think of pictures, I think, as an opportunity to market your idea. And if you look at the typical Amazon seller, even who typically would have good pictures, what they'll have is they have good product pictures that show the products just functioning. But I think you can be more elaborate than that, and I think you can touch on more of the emotional issues of photographs. And let me just give you an example. The last time I went to the Canton Fair, I was walking around and I was just looking at certain items, and I use tools to build things myself, drills, power tools, etc., and a lot of things, and not in that area, but just looking at it out of curiosity. And I walked in this one booth that had a power tool, had a drill. The guy hands me the drill and he says, "This is a really, really strong drill. It's got all these brushless motors and stainless steel and all this strong casing." It went into every feature of the product. And that's fine, thank you. And I handed him the drill back. Okay, that's fine. And I walked a couple of feet down and went to another booth where somebody else was selling a power drill. The guy hands me the drill and says, you got to imagine it's, I guess, in Chinese, but I can't even do a Chinese accent. But the guy was saying, "This is a very strong and powerful drill. It drills great holes, drills fast holes." And he had a piece of wood there, like on a display, and he handed me the drill, and the drill had a drill bit in it. He says, "You try." So he handed me the drill, and it drilled the hole. And it did. It worked really fast, and you could tell the drill was very strong and very powerful. He smiled, and then he said, "Here, it also drives in screws really fast. It's good at screwing." And I kind of like, okay. And I think something got a little lost in translation there, but I think, well, shoot, I'll take two. But the guy says, it's good. He meant to say I was as good at screwing in screws. So I kind of kept a straight face. Anyway, I took the drill. And this one had a drill bit that had a Phillips head screw head on the end of it, which, not that matters or anything, but it's what you drive. It's like the end of a screwdriver. It's what you use to drive in a screw into wood. And he had some screws that were already kind of started in the wood, and you put the drill in the screw, and it screwed the screw into the wood. And it did. It worked really strong. It was powerful. It felt good in the hand and everything else. And I said, "Thank you." And I went on my way. I said I wasn't looking for drills. But I thought about that for a second. I thought, well, here's two extreme examples. Here's how people mostly convey their products on Amazon, is they talk about all the features of the benefits of the product, which are fine. But the smart people understand that when you're trying to sell a drill, you sell the hole. You're not trying to sell the drill. When you want a hole, you'll buy a drill. Or you want to screw in screws, you'll buy a drill. So if you show the end result and why somebody's doing something and almost tell a story in your pictures, and obviously try and sell the whole as opposed to just the features and the benefit, I think you'll come out farther ahead. And I think really what you should do is that as you go through this, you want to touch on some of the emotional issues. And depending on what your product is, ask, why do people really want your product? I mean, for instance, if a mother's wants to buy a minivan, or a company trying to sell a minivan to a mother, car company, they're not selling it for anything other than the convenience to the mother and the safety of her children, right? If you're trying to sell a sports car to a 45-year-old person who's having a midlife crisis, you're talking about how good they're going to feel how they can reclaim their youth, how the opposite gender will be more interested in them. And you just talk about the excitement of being in the car, reclaiming what you've lost. You have to sit there and really, I think, spend a lot of time asking yourself, okay, why is somebody buying my product? What emotional issues can I touch on? And then what story can I tell with my pictures? And then if you look at the left column of pictures where it starts out at the main one in your image and then it goes down, I think there should be a progression and then go through and show and try and tell that emotional story with pictures. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's certainly hard to do. However, if you can have more live shots with people using the product, people showing smiles, that type of things, where if I were selling drills, I would show an emphasis on how quick the holes are, how strong, how easy it is to make the holes or screw in the screws into the wood. That's really, again, why somebody's buying the drill. So the other thing I think you can do on pictures, now I will put a little disclaimer here. Amazon says you're not supposed to put wording on your pictures. Now, it's something that right now they're really not enforcing a lot. So I don't want you to hear me say put wording on pictures. But until they start enforcing it, I think you could put wording on pictures that help phrase some of the things that you're doing. Because if you look at a lot of pictures, you see a lot of space in the background, digital real estate, if you will, that's not being used. And if you wanted to put on things of size dimensions of your products or testimonials or other things that help move that story along, I think that's okay. But again, realize Amazon may make you take those pictures down because everything is subject to interpretation and they write things differently so they can be interpreted differently. But my interpretation is you're really not supposed to have wordings on pictures. But like all things, you can beg forgiveness versus ask permission type of scenario if that's how you feel to go about and do that. But however, just think through your pictures. And I don't want to talk along with this, but I really just want to tell a story about the drill and the hole and then have you think a little bit about and ask yourself really the question, are your pictures telling a story? I know you understand it. You see it from different terms. You know every little thing about it. But as you're picturing that ideal buyer in your mind, are they really understanding your story? Are they really becoming emotionally attached to your item? Is there a reason for them to buy your item over your competitors who are just doing simply good product pictures? So as I said, a little bit of a short one today, but just wanted to plant a seed of thought and ask you to go back and take a serious look at your pictures and see if you are touching the emotions of your item. So with that said, appreciate you stopping in and look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks.